Never choose a woman based on emotion alone, because history does not pity the man who chose wrong. It forgets him. It buries his potential. It burns down his peace. And it silences the empire he was supposed to build. And no one warns you. Not your mother, not your friends, not the world that feeds off your distraction. But Machiavelli did. He said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." And the fool always learns too late that the woman he let inside his life wasn't a partner. She was a slow, smiling poison. So listen closely, because in this video, I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to prepare you, to show you how powerful men choose, not with lust, but with strategy. Centuries ago, Machiavelli wrote about power, not love. But if you read him closely, you'll realize he wasn't just talking about kings and war. He was talking about people, desire, strategy, control. He said people should either be caressed or crushed. And in the world of relationships, men often do both. They don't always seek connection. They seek advantage. They want peace, but only if it doesn't weaken them. So when a man chooses a woman, he isn't just choosing love. He's choosing a symbol of stability, of exclusivity, of power. Because in the modern world, relationships are no longer emotional decisions. They're tactical ones. You've been sold a lie, that men fall for kindness, that they're moved by emotional depth, that love is pure, spontaneous, and free of logic. But here's what actually happens. While you're thinking about connection, he's observing behavior, every detail, how you speak, who you've been with, what you tolerate, how fast you reply. It's not romantic. It's reconnaissance. He's not just seeing you. He's calculating your cost. Because the modern man, especially the strategic man, knows one thing: love is expensive. And if he gives it to the wrong woman, he doesn't just lose affection. He risks losing control. So he watches, not to feel safe, but to stay powerful. You think it's just a number. You think it's your past, and that the past doesn't matter. But for the man who sees long-term, the past isn't dead. It's data. Every experience you've shared, every connection you've given, it leaves a mark, not on your body, but on your perceived value. This isn't morality. It's market psychology. Men fear being the final buyer of what's been passed around for free. Because when something has been too accessible, its weight drops, its cost lowers, and its impact fades. That's not cruelty. It's instinct. To protect themselves from emotional debt, men avoid what feels pre-spent. It's harsh. It's uncomfortable. But in his eyes, an infinite body count doesn't mean you're unworthy. It just means you're risky. And risk is rarely chosen. What's common is ignored. What's rare is worshipped. This is not just how men think. It's how human psychology works. When a woman is everywhere, in every story, every memory, every hand, she becomes familiar, and the familiar show loses weight. But the woman who's rare, the one who doesn't reveal everything, who doesn't speak too much, post too much, offer too much, she becomes mysterious, valuable, untouchable. Her silence feels sacred. Her attention feels earned. Machiavelli would say, she understands power. Because scarcity isn't about being cold. It's about being selective. And men don't chase noise. They chase signal. The woman who makes them pause. The one who makes them work. That's the one they remember. That's the one they choose. Men don't just choose women. They choose stories. And your story doesn't start when you meet him. It started long before. in the whispers, the way you carry yourself, in how the world sees you. This is your reputation index. It's not always fair, but it's always active. Men listen to silence. They study your name in a room full of eyes. They notice how other men speak about you, or how they don't. If you're constantly visible, overly accessible, emotionally loud, your perceived value begins to drop. But if you're quiet, composed, and hard to read, your value multiplies. Because the world doesn't reward presence, it rewards discipline. Machiavelli knew this. To be desired, you must become more than a person. You must become a symbol. And symbols are shaped by reputation, not explanation. There's something more attractive than beauty, more rare than loyalty, more unforgettable than charm. It's emotional control, the ability to remain still when others beg for attention, the power to hold back when your heart wants to overshare, the discipline to observe instead of reacting. Men may chase excitement, but they commit to stability. And nothing feels safer than a woman who doesn't lose herself in emotion. She speaks less, feels deeper, responds slower. Not because she's cold, but because she's centered. And in a world full of chaos, she becomes as calm. Machiavelli would call her the ultimate weapon, because she never reveals her full strength until it's too late. Every man, consciously or not, is calculating risk, not just financial risk, emotional risk, reputational risk, legacy risk. And in this equation, a woman isn't judged by how much he loves her, but by how much she might cost him. Will she ruin his peace? Will she expose him publicly? Will she turn love into leverage? The more reactive she is, the more emotional chaos she carries, the more history she refuses to control, the more dangerous she becomes. And strategic men don't bet on chaos. They bet on silence, stability, predictability. Because in the world of power, the wrong woman is not just a heartbreak. She's a liability. And the right one? She's insurance. A high-value woman isn't chosen just for love. She's chosen for what she represents: discipline, loyalty, control. To the strategic man, she's not a distraction. She's an extension of his power. Like a queen in chess, her presence can shift perception. She speaks little, but her influence is everywhere. She doesn't need to fight for space, because her value is understood in silence. She doesn't compete, because she knows she cannot be replaced. Machiavelli once said, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." But in this age, you judge a man by the woman he stands beside. She's not the prize, she's the strategy. Not every woman gets chosen. And the reason is rarely spoken, because it's brutal. She may be kind, she may be loyal, she may give everything. But if she gives it too fast, too easily, too loudly, she becomes forgettable. Not because she lacks worth, but because she shows no restraint. The woman who explains too much, craves too much, loves too loudly, she loses the very thing that makes her magnetic: mystery. And men don't remember noise. They remember silence. The women who are passed over aren't the weakest. They're just the ones who made themselves too available before they were ever truly seen. This is the part they don't teach you. That being good isn't enough. That loyalty doesn't guarantee love. That effort doesn't equal value. Because men don't choose based on kindness. They choose based on position. Who adds to their image? Who protects their peace? Who feels like a reward, not a responsibility? Machiavelli didn't believe in fair choices. He believed in necessary ones, and so do men who think long-term. They don't select based on guilt, or sympathy, or even past memories. They choose the woman who aligns with their vision, not their feelings. Because feelings fade, but strategy lasts. And in the end, that's what selection becomes. Not a connection, but a calculation. If she does not fear losing you, she will never truly value you. That's the law. Not emotional, not personal. Just law. Because what costs nothing is worth nothing. And the man who makes himself endlessly available invites his own destruction. You think she'll change? You think love is enough? It's not. Machiavelli warned us. A prince who cannot secure his power will become a slave to those he once tried to lead. And you were meant to lead, not to beg, not to explain, not to compromise with chaos in a dress. The truth is brutal. The wrong woman won't just break your heart. She'll bankrupt your legacy. So make your choice. Not as a boy hoping for love, but as a man building an empire. And from this day forward, let it be known. You do not chase. You do not beg. You do not apologize for having high standards. You choose strategically. Or you fall silently, forgotten, like the rest.